What you got, 600?
Alright, let's go. I'm all in. WPT's World Championship Series is taking place at Las Vegas' premier property, the Wynn. To kick off the biggest and most exciting series of the year, we're about to play the most exciting meetup game event of all time. There's no better place to host the event than by far the nicest poker room in the city. It's a Thursday morning, but you wouldn't know it by looking around because the place is completely packed. We've got 28 tables and a list for the biggest turnout ever. When Andrew and I first started Mugs 5.5 years ago, we never envisioned anything like this happening. We just thought it'd be cool to play casual poker with our viewers, get to know them a little bit better. Not everyone is here to see me and Andrew though. For the first time, Doyle Brunson makes an appearance at one of our events, so does Phil Ivey, and so does Patrick Antonius. More people from the WPT family are here as well, including Steve Aoki, Lynn Gilmartin, Vince Van Patten, and Tony Dunst. I forgot to get a video of Tony, so here's another video of Steve Aoki. The fact that people have the opportunity to meet and play with all these legends is phenomenal. On top of that, we're giving away 4 seats worth $10,400 each to the WPT World Championship main event. It doesn't get much cooler than this. To get things started, we buy into the 1-3 game for $500, that's the max. We'll be bouncing back and forth between multiple tables and stakes today. We take our seat about an hour before the listed start time. It's 8:58 a.m. when we begin the first session that I've logged from the Wynn. 7 minutes in, we pick up pocket aces and hijack. I like how this is starting out. A player in middle position raises to 22. That's already a large opening size. It's over 7 times the amount in the big blind. The price is about to go up even more. We 3-bet to 65. I'm feeling a little bit chilly. Could be because the AC is turned up pretty high, or it could be because the cutoff comes in cold with a 4-bet to 170. I'm confused. I double check my calendar just to confirm it's not our birthday because people are trying to gift us all their money. The initial preflop raiser 5-bet jams and has us covered. We're going nowhere. I call. The cutoff has about the same amount as us in his stack. He also calls. It's a 3-way all-in right at the start of the session. I turn over the aces because I'm not going to slow roll people. I know that we're best right now. We're going to need to hold though.
Man wakes up with aces, first day in the plays.
That's not good. Before even knowing what my opponents have, I'm not happy to see the King-Jack 10 flop with 2 spades because it's very likely one of our opponents drilled a set. My suspicions are confirmed as I look to my right. Yep.
Oh, shit.
Quads. Wow. What do you have? Ace King?
I said, why are you nervous? You win every hand you play.
Jiggities. Nice hand, man.
Wow.
Less than 10 minutes in, we get stacked with pocket aces against my own hand. Jiggities wins a huge 500 big blind pot. It's not exactly how I wanted to start things off, but it's still early. We've got plenty of time to recuperate the first buy-in. I head on for 500 more and pick up ace-queen offsuit about 20 minutes later. We raise the 20 from under the gun +1 after the button straddled. The cutoff calls, the button calls, and the big blind also calls. We're going 4 ways to the flop. The dealer puts out queen 9-8 with 2 clubs. We've got top pair, which seems solid, but against 3 other opponents who will have hands like jack 10, pocket 9s and pocket 8s, or even queen 9 or queen 8 suited in their ranges, I'm not super comfortable. The big blind checks. I play this passively with a check for pot control and to see what the opponents behind me want to do. The cutoff checks. The button gets a little more feisty. He rips it in for 103 total. He could have a combo draw of some sort like queen jack or queen 10 of clubs. I'm on the fence about whether or not to call. The big blind makes my decision a little easier as he calls. With 2 players willing to play for a lot of money, top pair isn't looking so good. The big blind made his call with 2 other players behind him as well. He has to be extra strong in order to do that, or at least have a massive draw. There's some chance we've got the best hand and a decent amount of equity, but we also only have $20 invested and could completely be crushed if one of our opponents has a straight or a set. It's best to play patient and look for better spots. I fold even though that I hate having to check fold top when I'm getting almost 3-1 on a call. The cutoff folds. I keep the camera rolling to see what the runout is and to see what the 2 remaining players have. The turn is the 4 of diamonds, probably no help to anyone. The river is another 4. The button immediately turns over jack 10 offsuit. He flopped the nuts. That's going to win it. The other opponent mucks his cards face down. It seems that the deck is out to get me today by putting me in spots where I'm guaranteed to lose money. At least this time we lose the minimum. Next we're dealt pocket 6s in the small blind. The hijack limps in. The button calls. We've got a hand with a lot of potential. I prefer to see a flop cheaply from this position rather than raise, likely get called in 2 spots, and have to play a much larger pot from out of position when we won't improve most of the time. I call for 2 more. The big blind checks his option. We're going 4 ways to the flop. We don't make a set. The dealer puts out jack 6 with 2 clubs. We've got a full house and a multi-way pot. On second thought, maybe we should have bet pre-flop after all. It It hasn't even been 45 minutes and we've already been involved in several interesting hands. He checks to the button. He's a sport. He does his best impression of an iceberg by running into a boat with a bet of 15 into a pot of 12. We want to keep all his bluffs in. I slow play with the call just like I know my girl Rose would. We can't let everyone know just yet that we've got the goods. The big blind and the hijack fold. It's heads up. The turn is the 4 of spades. It's a blank unless the button is playing the Robbie, which wouldn't be all that surprising. I check. The button falls right into our trap. He fires for 30. This is the point where we'll make our move. I slide in a raise to 110. Trip jack certainly won't be folding. The opponent may even call with a flush draw, even though I wouldn't advise doing that on a paired board because in instances like this, flush draws are drawing dead. The button takes his time, then eventually makes the call. This turned into a large pot. I'm rooting for a low club. The river is the 5 of spades. We've got 388 left in our stack. The opponent has us covered by $1 million after making quad jiggities against us earlier that we need to repay him for, and by that, I mean get him to pay us. I don't mind checking in this situation because a hand like trip jacks may still value bet, and hands like missed clubs won't be able to call a bet, but they may fire as a bluff. It seems unlikely that missed clubs will fire after I called more than a pot size bet on the flop and check raise turn, so I rip it in to target trip jacks. The opponent doesn't immediately lay his hand down. He may be thinking about calling. I get my stack out there bit by bit. After 15 seconds, the button folds. I didn't get the sense that he had a very tough decision. He almost certainly didn't have trips. I let the table see that we flopped a boat. I've never been very worried about showing people my hands at the table. Otherwise, I never would have started the YouTube channel. It's nice to win this and get back on the right track. Here we've got ace-6 of diamonds in the big blind. The straddle's on for 6. The button limps in off of a stack of 385. I mentioned earlier that we're giving away 4 seats to the WPT main event during this meetup game. The way players can qualify for a chance to win is to be involved in an all-in with me or any one of the other WPT ambassadors. Whether players win or lose the pot, they're given a raffle ticket as long as there's an all-in and a call. Then raffle winners are drawn at the end of the session. I want to give people I play with an opportunity to get a raffle ticket and possibly a free $10,400 buy-in into the $15 million guaranteed tournament. Alright, I'm on. Had I fully understood how we were going to give away these seats and how it would affect the gameplay earlier on, I would have bought in for $100 at a time and ripped it regularly so that more people would have opportunities to get some of these raffle tickets. As it is, it's tougher for people to justify calling a shove for almost 400 with mediocre holdings, and that results in the button folding ace-10 of hearts face up. I have no choice but to let him know that he had me dominated.
You couldn't call? You couldn't call? For the seat? I would have called it with my 7 dudes.
People certainly want those raffle tickets. I estimate that each one has a value between $150 and $200. It definitely changes the dynamic of the game. Just 2 hands later, I pick up ace-king offsuit on the button. It's trouble for the rest of the table that I've got a real hand immediately after showing that I was willing to get it all in for a good amount with basically air right before. A player in middle position raises to 10. There's a great opportunity for me to capitalize on my wild image. The initial pre-flop raiser started the hand with a stack of 700. He has my 580 covered. I 3-bet jam for almost 200 big blinds. I may get called by a variety of worse aces. The small blind only has 180 total. I mentioned before that the tickets alone are worth somewhere around that amount, so if he jams any 2 cards, it'll basically be profitable for him. The small blind indeed rips it in. A ticket will be awarded to him regardless of who wins the hand. The player in middle position folds pocket 4s face up. Just too much money to risk. I'm glad to see that hand go into the muck. It's down to just us and the small blind. We both flip our hands over. We see that we have the small blind's ace-jack offsuit crushed. Pocket 4s would have been in good shape against our exact holdings. The flop comes 10-8 deuce with 2 clubs. We've got the ace of clubs. Neither of us make a pair though. The turn is the 9 of diamonds, giving the opponent an open-ended straight draw. The river is another deuce. We get what would have been the winner to fold pre-flop, and we stack the player on our left. The small blind at least gets a consolation prize.
Thanks, man.
He gets the ticket though.
He does get a ticket.
Pretty unfortunate for the opponent to wake up with ace-jack offsuit in that situation. He's a couple hands too late. We get to absorb his stack into ours. He gets a shot at a prize worth more than $10,000. Fair enough trade. Everyone in attendance also gets these commemorative fidget spinners as well. In this one, we've got queen jack of hearts under the gun +2. Under the gun +1 limps in. I raise to 15. The button calls with a short stack. Under the gun +1 also calls. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The dealer puts out queen 6-3 all spades. We've at least got top pair. Under the gun +1 leads for 20. I don't love it, but it's too early to fold. I call to see what'll come on the turn. Before we're able to see, the button jams for 76 total. Could be doing this with plenty of worse hands and is simply trying to get himself a ticket. Onto the gun +1 folds. It's not much more for us. He could have the best hand, and I'd like for the button to be guaranteed a ticket.
I'll give you a chance at it.
Alright, so I'm all in with, so this counts as a ticket?
Yeah. I hope you, well, you're gonna get a ticket. I hope you.
I have 5 high right now because I have a flush.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna have a spade.
The opponent called our pre-flop raise with 5-4 offsuit, then flopped the 4-high flush draw to go along with his open ender. He gets there on the river to not only win a ticket, but also get more than a double up. As much fun as it is playing 1-3, it's time to go somewhere where they respect our raises. That's a 2-5 table. I add on for 900 more. Players are still eligible to win tickets at this stake, but stacks are much deeper here, so they'll be risking a lot more during all-ins, and likely won't be ripping it in light against us. It's about noon. You're probably thinking what I'm thinking, that it's the perfect time to take a shot at tequila. Someone orders a round for the table. In my WPT contract, it says that I'm obligated to have drinks at meetup games anytime someone offers me one, no matter the circumstances. You can see on my face how excited I am to take this. Probably a good time to take a little break after. Here with Charity, meetup game is crazy right now. You see Doyle behind me here, Ivey somewhere over here. And how's your day going?
Oh my God, best poker day of my life. No joke. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Did you get to interact with
And I've gotten 2 of these.
2 tickets?
I've gotten 2.
Nice.
Phil Ivey took all my money though. Shame on you, Phil.
Phil's wrecking everybody. I'm stuck, but I'm looking to change that as we look down at King Jack offsuit under the gun +1 in a shorthanded 2-5 game. I raised to 15. The big blind is the only caller. We're heads up in position. The dealer puts out King 10-4 with 2 clubs. We've got top pair and a backdoor straight draw. The big blind checks. We probably have the best hand, but I like mixing in betting and checking in order to give the opponent an opportunity to bluff on future streets if he doesn't have anything. I check back. The turn is the 6 of hearts. Seems like a decent card. The big blind bets 25. We checked back flop to induce bets from the opponent. That's what's happening. I call to allow the big blind to continue bluffing if he has air and to keep the pot manageable if he has us beat. The river is another king giving us trips. The way we played this, our hand strength is very concealed. The big blind shouldn't anticipate us having 3 kings after checking back the flop and just calling the turn bet. Our plan may have worked out to perfection because the big blind bets 150. This is a bet of almost 2 times the size of the pot. If we raise, I'm not sure that we can get called by much worse except maybe something like King 9 or King 8. There's a good chance that we're up against a bluff or a full house. If the opponent's bluffing, he won't call a raise anyway. If he has a boat, we're going to get wrecked if we raise. I figure that we have the best hand, and I feel bad for taking this long, as I decide against making it more.
This is kind of a nit roll. I was thinking about raising. Well, I didn't.
The opponent has us crushed with his King 10 offsuit. He flopped top 2 pair, then rivered a full house over our trips. The big blind does well to get us to call a large bet, but we essentially lose the minimum since we likely would have raised had he made it smaller. It's been tough to get anything going this session, so I feel good about being stuck less than 1,000, given all the difficult situations that we've been in so far. Here we've got ace 3 suited in the cutoff. The hijack raises to 15. I should be 3-betting, but I call. The button is an awesome viewer named Zach from Fresno. He sees some easy money upper grabs and puts in a 3-bet to 60. That's too much for the hijack. He folds. We could reasonably fold ace 3 suited, but we're not gonna. I call for 45 more. We're heads up out of position in a 3-bet pot. The flop comes 8-6-6 with 2 diamonds. We completely brick it and are planning to fold if the button bets almost anything. I check. We still have life as the opponent checks back. We may only have overcards to the board. The turn is the 3 of hearts. We pair a card in our hand. That's something that's normally good to do in poker. Now, we probably have the best hand. I check. If the opponent checks back, I'll feel very good about where we're at. The button does check back. I don't get the sense that he has anything, and I try to let him know as the river comes out.
Got you beat.
I make it 25, kind of as a value blocker bet. It's extremely annoying to face this type of bet when you have something like ace-king on this board because you figure you're probably beat, but you're getting 1,000,000 to 1, so you don't want to fold, even though you're losing with a call nearly 100% of the time. Tiny bet doesn't look strong, so you contemplate raising as a bluff, but your story wouldn't make a ton of sense. This may not stop the button. It looks like he's about to do something wild.
Deep for the take.
The opponent raises to 125. The only hand that he really seems to be representing is ace-jack or king-jack. We have removal to ace-jack. I don't think he'd necessarily 3-bet those holdings pre-flop 100% of the time either. What seems most likely to me is that we broke the opponent with our bet sizing, and the CPU might have malfunctioned. He knows that he can't win the pot by calling, he probably senses weakness and is trying to make a last-ditch effort to steal some Bradley dollars and take him back to Fresno, but I'm not buying his San Joaquin River raise.
Alright, I call.
Ah, he tried it.
The opponent tries to get one through on us with Queen 10 of clubs. I like the effort and the guts it takes to make the move, but we pull the Scruff McGruff to sniff out the bluff. Our Jedi mind trick of telling the opponent that we've got him beat as the river was coming out might have induced the opponent to take a line that didn't make a ton of sense. We capitalize on it. At our 7th table of the day, we pick up pocket kings and the hijack. I raised to 15. There's only one customer, the big blind calls. We're heads up in position. The flop comes King 9-7 rainbow. We've got top set with a lot of straight draws present. The opponent checks. We won't be slow playing this. I bet 15. The big blind thinks that's a fair price. He calls. The turn is the 6 of spades. 10-8 and 8-5 both make straights. The big blind checks. We'll be betting until we get raised, even with the somewhat scary turn card. I make it 45. Plenty of worse hands can still call, like lower sets, 2-pair hands, 9-8 and 8-7 type of hands, even Jack 10. The big blind calls. I'd like to avoid seeing a 10, 8, or 5 on the river. The dealer puts out the deuce of clubs. It's a total blank. The opponent checks. Straights are vulnerable hands, so he probably would have check raised turn if he had us beat with the straight. We're almost for sure holding the winner. The tricky part now is extracting as much money as possible. There aren't many kings left in the deck for the opponent to have, so I won't even target top pair. I'm going to target 2-pair hands, and I'm going to size way up to make it look like I'm trying to buy the pot. I bet 210. Hopefully it'll look like I missed with Jack 10. We may even get looked up by 2nd or 3rd pair if he just doesn't believe that we're as strong as we are. Looks like he's incredibly suspicious of us, but doesn't have much. He's in the tank for a long time, just sitting there quietly. Then after 45 seconds, he breaks his silence. Ooh, scary. I couldn't want to call more, but I'm trying to look a little nervous on the outside. You don't want to overdo it though. After a minute goes by, the opponent finally lays it down.
Good fold, good fold.
Oh my god. A monster. It's going in the blood.
There haven't been too many significant pots that have gone our direction today. This one isn't even all that large since we don't get paid. The opponent would later tell me that he was considering making the hero call with 10-6. He flopped a gut shot straight draw and turned 4th pair. That would have been sweet. At this time, I'm notified that a seat is opened up to play with Phil Ivey at the 1-3 table. I immediately take it. I played with Ivey once before in a high stakes 100-200 game when I got my biggest cash game win ever of $48,000. I've been watching Phil on TV since I was 15. He's one of the people in poker that I've looked up to the most. It's always exciting just being around him. We get involved in a big pot together the very first hand I play at the table.
It's good, man.
What do you got, 600?
I had to start with 5. Jesus. I mean, what? Alright, let's go. I'm all in.
Let me catch you up on the action. Coming from 2-5, I had to set aside the majority of my chips and start the hand with 500 because that's the max of 1-3. Phil surprisingly limps in from under the gun. We've got ace-9 suited in the hijack and raised to 15. You heard the exchange that I had. Phil limp 3-bet jams for 500 effective. There are a couple thoughts running through my head. The first is, what the hell is Phil doing this with? I'm completely caught off guard and just trying to compose myself because I'm feeling how I imagine I would if Michael Jordan was around. I was just kind of hoping that we get a few easy decisions early on at the table so I can feel more comfortable. Instead, I'm immediately thrown into the fire. It seems more than possible Ivey just doesn't care about $500, is willing to 3-bet rip it for fun, or to put me to the test and make a statement that he's the one that's going to be pushing people around. It seems similar to when I 3-bet jammed with ace-6 suited in the 1-3 earlier. We've got removal to hands like pocket aces and ace-king. If he doesn't have aces, I'll have minimally around 30% equity if I'm not already ahead. I couldn't pass up an opportunity to gamble all in with Ivey, especially at low stakes, so I called.
Alright, Phil. What do we got? You got the jiggities. Okay.
Ivey completely scrambled my brain with a limp 3-bet jam. I get it in behind with only a 31.9% chance of winning and doubling up to the person who's widely regarded as the best poker player of all time. The flop comes Queen 6-6. We don't improve and are going to need a lot of help. The turn is the 10 of hearts that doesn't do anything for us. It's down to one final card. The river is another queen. Ivey's hand holds. I get a not so nice welcome to the table, a memory that I'll never forget, and a lesson from the legend. There's not much for me to do other than admit that I got by the GOAT. First charity, now me. Ivey's putting on a clinic. 5 minutes later, we look down at 9-8 of hearts in the big blind. Under the gun +2 raises to 10. The hijack 3 bets at 35. Ivey cold calls in the cutoff. Usually I'd fold in this situation, but we've got a playable hand and need to get revenge against Ivey. I call for 32 more. Under the gun +2 also calls. We're going 4 ways to the flop, out of position in a 3-bet pot. It comes Jack 9-6 with 2 clubs. We've got middle pair and a backdoor straight draw. Everyone plays this cautiously. We all check. Middle pair could be best. The turn is the deuce of spades. It's a blank. I don't want this to check through again and allow someone an opportunity to hit a higher pair on the river if they have a hand like ace-king or ace-queen. I take a stab at it, betting 70. I expect this bet to win a decent percentage of the time. If I get called, I'll probably check fold on most rivers. Under the gun +2 folds. The hijack also folds. The last player remaining is Ivey. He makes the call. He may have some sort of drawing hand like queen 10 or king queen, maybe 2 clubs. The river is the king of hearts. I'm no longer beating queen 10, king queen, or king high flush draws. I check with intentions of giving up. Ivey checks back. We turn over third pair. Ivey shows that he has the same pair as us, but he has 10-9 offsuit and his 10 kicker plays, so he wins 1 more pot from me. It hasn't been easy to win hands. Still, it's one of the coolest poker experiences that I've ever been a part of. The winners of the seats of the WPT World Championship get announced. 4 players get a chance of a lifetime as they receive free entries into the most anticipated tournament of the year. That wraps up the poker portion of the day, but the event isn't over.
Played for 5 hours today, a mix of 1-3 and 2-5. Got to play with Phil Ivey. He stacked me at the end there, and let's see, I lost 1,100. So, you know, the results of the day weren't that good, but the energy here was the best that I've ever seen for any type of meetup game. Steve Aoki, Patrick Antonius, Doyle Brunson, Ivey. I mean, I'm missing a bunch of people, I feel like, but yeah, man, that was just so much fun. So now it's time to head to the players party, and things are just getting started here at the Win. This room is beautiful. Never shot a vlog here before, so awesome to do that as well.
We arrive at the players party, which takes place at a lounge near the poker room. WPT covers food and drinks for everyone. It's been the perfect way to get this series started. Phil Hellmuth even shows up to talk to meetup game players, and if you look really closely at this eye on the right edge of your screen, you may even notice that we finally caught Tony Dunst on camera. To be in the same room with all these legends of poker and watch them interact and play small stakes with people who are just fans of the game is something that I'll never forget. Meetup games have come a long way since our days at the Westgate, but I'm still hungry and still focused on achieving goals that I have on the felt. With the cash game event wrapping up, it's time to prepare for the World Championship Tournament, which will be my last shot at a 6-figure score this year, and I intend to give everything that I have.
I've got a funny feeling some hands from this 10K are going to make the vlog.
I was just thinking, you think a lot of people will watch if he wins it, makes a vlog out of it. I think you might get a few viewers there.
Wow!
Holy fucking ass, damn it, dude.
Pay out 100.
Matt Savage.
Biggest content creator in the poker world, running deep in one of the biggest poker tournaments.
5 in your hand instead. It's Brad turning the 7s into a bluff and jamming.
Okay, Brad.
All right.